Tonight we continue our series on the first 100 days of the Donald Trump presidency with one of his signature campaign rallying points. Early and often, the Republican nominee took aim at President Obama's legacy nuclear deal with Iran. But Trump also hinted he would not just tear up that deal. So now the question is, what will the new president do about the nuclear deal, and is there room for a detente with Iran beyond the deal? Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen reports.
Born in Iran, an accomplished lecturer and the author of 3 books in Farsi, now an American citizen practicing law in the States, Ali Reza Alan Parsa sees some prospects under the next president for improved relations between Washington and his ancestral Persian homeland.
If nothing else, Mr. Trump, he does represent American pragmatism. He will cut deals, he will sit down with, friend and foe, and try to come up with the best deals.
In the years since the Iranian regime brutally suppressed the street protests of June 2009, the United States, joined by 5 other world powers, negotiated and implemented a landmark deal curbing the regime's vast nuclear program while providing it with tens of billions in sanctions relief, including huge infusions of cash and access to U.S. dollar transactions. At the same time, Iran's military has harassed American warships in the Persian Gulf, detained U.S. sailors at gunpoint, ramped up ballistic missile testing, intervened militarily to prop up the Assad regime in Syria, continued funding Hamas and Hezbollah, and reaffirmed undying hostility to the nation it still calls the Great Satan. Most analysts believe that in his first 100 days in office, the next president will make some swift demonstration of his commitment to changing the U.S.-Iranian relationship. The nuclear accord, now at the heart of that relationship, having never been ratified by Congress, is at once the easiest thing to change and the most far-reaching. And as a candidate, Donald Trump criticized it bitterly.
This is one of the worst deals ever made by any country in history. The deal with Iran will lead to nuclear problems. All they have to do is sit back 10 years, and they don't have to do much, and they're going to end up getting nuclear.
But he has also signaled he doesn't intend to just walk away from the deal.
It's very tough to do when you say rip up a deal, because I'm a deal person, but I will police that deal. I've taken over some bad contracts. I would police that contract so tough that they don't have a chance. As bad as the contract is, I will be so tough on that contract.
The Secretary of State who negotiated the Iran deal hinted to reporters in Brussels last week that President Obama, in attempting to persuade his successor not to scrap the deal, made some headway.
And that there was a sense in that conversation, without violating any of it, that there were aspects of it that are constructive and positive and worthwhile and maybe should be held on to.
Iran's president has warned Tehran will not allow Mr. Trump to weaken or abandon the deal. The State Department was forced to acknowledge Iran has no such power.
And of course, no one else can prevent any other party to this agreement from walking away. The counter-argument to that is, why would anyone walk away? Because it's effective.
Outside of the nuclear deal, it is the raging civil war and humanitarian catastrophe in Syria that may offer the next president his clearest avenue for cooperation with Iran. After all, the Iranian military is coordinating closely with Russia in Syria, and the president-elect has vowed to work with the Kremlin to resolve that conflict. And Alan Parsa, for one, believes Mr. Trump may recognize a bit of himself in his adversaries in Tehran.
Because Iranians have shown themselves to be rather pragmatic in many areas, and as Mr. Trump himself has said, they're good deal makers too.
Even if he intends to quiet things down between the U.S. and Iran, Mr. Trump will soon find his hand forced by events. Members of Congress have proposed close to 3 dozen sanctions bills, and the new president will have to issue fresh waivers for the nuclear deal to continue, Brett, if, of course, Mr. Trump is of a mind to keep it.
Could get sticky, James. Thank you. Our 15-part series looking ahead to the first 100 days of the Trump presidency continues tomorrow with the president-elect's plans for tax cuts and simplification of the tax code. If you miss any of the reports, you can check them all out on foxnews.com/special report.